it's Del from Inkie Quill, and I thought today I'd do a bit of a different video. It's a real-time video, so please let me know if you like this type of thing in the future, and I can do one of these a month for you. But I'm going to make some embellishment clusters, and I have been working with my Citrus Twist May Pocket Life kit, and so I thought that I would try and use it up because I'm down to, oh, my dad's messaging me. They found, look at this, they found a bunny in their neighbour's backyard. Little, like I said, it was little Peter Cottontail. We don't know if it's wild or if it's someone's that's run away. But the wild bunnies in here actually seem, because there's a bit of a problem with people letting loose their domestic bunnies, there is a bit of a problem that some of the wild bunnies actually look quite domestic. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my May Pocket Life kit and I want to use it up because I've done about, I think I've done about 6 pages with it, 7 maybe, and I want to try and make some embellishment clusters so that I can grab them and just put them on my layouts whenever. So turn this video on, it's already on, you're listening to it. Turn on the video, grab some supplies, and let's make some embellishment clusters. And I can, like I said, I can do this every month for you if you like it, and we'll just go from there. So I've only got 1 card left from the kit, and with the kits you do get 6x6 papers. So I really like this paper. So what I'm actually going to do, because I don't need 50,000 grey embellishments, I'm going to cheat and use the card as a template just to cut out some of the papers that I like into some Project Life cards that I can just pop in my box. So I've got on my desk this little box that I just keep random cards from kit clubs and end of kits, or there's some Project Life ones in here. There's just, when I feel like Project Lifing and not using a kit, then I just go for this. So I'm going to cut some of those out. So I need to clear my space. Does anyone else do this? Do you make a little fort with supplies and so your area gets smaller and smaller? I do. And I hope the sound's okay here. I'm just kind of talking in front of the camera, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm going to make a pile of bits that I can punch shapes out of. So punch, punch. Now this is a 4x6 card, but I don't usually use 4x6 cards because of the style of, where did that card go? Now you get to see all my squirrel moments in real life. Here it is. I don't often get to use 4x6 Project Life cards because with the page configurations of, I might punch that one. Because of the page configurations of the 9x12, it's quite, there's only a couple of pockets that have that space for a traditional photo, and I like to often, especially with Archie born now, what I'm trying to say is I usually fill up the 4x6 pockets with photos and very rarely have an empty one. So I'm going to cut these down. That's very autumny, I like that. Whoops. Loud scissors. I might punch that one and keep that one because I don't think I need 2, because that is quite a memorable card, I guess. I think that's what annoys me about the Project Life core kits, is that there are so many repeated cards that I don't really want to, I only kind of want to use them once or twice at most. I don't really want to find that card 8 different times in my album. So I think that's an issue that I have. Now, let's be real. It's lime green. Okay, I'll tell you what. call me crazy, but I'm going to cut out one card and the rest I'm going to make embellishments. And I have a couple of giveaways that I have to post, and I might make some embellishment clusters and post them away. Now this one's a bit of a tricky one because it's got words on it. So I'm actually going to cut that out and use it like an embellishment. I'm going to zoom in once I make the actual cards, don't worry, so you'll be able to see. I thought I'd just keep you big for this part, so that you can see my desk and what a scrappy disgrace it often is. Now I like that keeper, but I like that too. What do I like more? I think I'll do the keeper. The great thing about gridded ones is that you can use the grid lines as cutting lines. Now Archie, I will warn you all, Archie's been asleep for 2 hours. What an awesome Project Life card. It probably just looks white to you. There you go, it's got keeper on it. Archie has been asleep for 2 hours and counting, and will wake up at some point. I love this one, I love it. Oh, which part do I want though? I've got to get some of that turquoise. He will wake up and I will have to pause it and feed him. But today I feel like, oh, isn't that gorgeous? I feel like today is the first kind of normal day that we've had a chance to have. I'm actually going to leave the rest to punch because I really like that. I'm going to do this one here. Snip, snip, snip. Yes, today's the first normal day that we've had because he had a little head cold, and then he had his 6-month vaccinations, which wasn't great. The actual vaccination was fine. He only cried for, you know, a minute or so, which was really good. But the next few days he just wasn't himself. I'm going to pull you in now so I can start punching. Whoops, slowly. That should probably be close enough, I think. Yeah, he just wasn't himself. He was very grizzly and very grumpy and not enjoying life. Now, the punches I'm going to use today, there are a range of punches. If I can remember where they're from, I'll let you know. And I'm just going to go a bit punch happy. So this is an old Stampin' Up one that does a little, like a little label. I might do 2 of those. And I'm a sucker for a nice circle. There we go. And I might use these little bits. Otherwise, if it's a paper I really love, then I'll cut these bits out and put them in my scraps. If not, I will turf this. So it is orange, so there is a high chance it might not survive. I'm going to see if I can sneak in a... Yes. Now, when you do this, I really recommend getting a few different sizes of punches. That's just too short. And try... I can do one here. But I just want to say a huge thank you because I'm really excited about Patreon, and I'm hoping to actually increase the number of videos on here. So I'm still going to have 2 a week on my YouTube channel, but I'm hoping to also have 2 a week on here and to have more of these kind of chatty, real-time videos. So let me know if you do enjoy that, because I oops, wrong pile. I actually really enjoy watching videos like this while I'm scrapbooking, because you can just put it on the background and kind of just zone out, and it feels like you're, or can I just get it? Yep. It feels like you're just scrapping along with a friend at a crop, when really you may still be in your pajamas like I am and just be hanging out at home. Because in all honesty, I really do think that I love scrapbooking with friends, but I also love scrapbooking in my pajamas in my lounge room and not worrying about lugging all of my supplies somewhere, because that's half the battle sometimes. Whoop. Whoop. And I might be able to cut out some little hearts. Let's see. So yeah, please let me know, because I would like to kind of get a bit ahead with filming some videos for you, so that there's always going to be videos on time for my Patreon peeps. If you like these embellishment clusters, we can definitely make it a video every month, and some months I might use a kit I'm trying to use up. Some months I might just pull scraps from my stash. Some months I might even use my scrap box and see how much, and we can do a bit of a challenge and see how much we can get from the one box. I did that recently, so I've got to wait until my scrap box kind of refills up a little bit. But I really just love embellishment clusters. Now I'm sure I could probably squeeze in a few more hearts here and there, but I think I'm going to call this one done. Not this one though. I might do some stars. I recently just remembered that I have a tiny star punch, because I forgot about it. Don't we all have those things in our stash that we just completely and utterly forget about? What's your thing that you often forget? What's your supply that you often forget that you have? For me, I think punches, die cuts, and embossing folders. Ooh, we could emboss some things. No, I can't. My Big Shot's under my desk and it's too heavy. It's right under stuff. Next time I do an embellishment video, we might emboss some stuff too. Little hearts. I just want to say a huge thank you also, while you're watching this, for supporting me on Patreon, because I really would love to make Inkie Quill a full-time creative thing, and I need to show myself that I can support my growing family. Not pregnant again, don't mean like that, I meant with the new edition of Archie. Because, you know, at the moment we are just scraping by, so it would be nice that I could cover some of the bills and still be able to create. And it also allows me, by supporting me on Patreon, you're also stopping me from going back to a full-time teaching job next year. Which, oh, it's Aaron, gotta go, I'll be back. Alrighty, Aaron's on his way home for lunch, so that means I have 10 minutes or so to keep punching, and then I'll be back after that. So I need to stop saying so as well. I've realized that I say that word so often, it's slightly ridiculous. I might also cut out some tags as well. It's great to have some of, like, these two punches, this one and this one I got from Lingcraft, which is an Aussie store here, and I think it was just their generic brand of punches. Whoa! But they're a great size. I think they're 2" because if I cut something from a paper pad, they usually just fit in the little offcut, which is very handy. Whoop. So please let me know what types of videos would you like over here on Patreon. I'm hoping to do a few different things. I'm hoping to do some every month for the next 10, is it? Hang on. No, for the next 8 months. You'll get a journal flip of my 2016 albums, which is exclusive to you Patreons because I'm not doing it on my main channel on YouTube. And, whoa, there we go. And once they're done, then I'll start flipping through the wedding albums too, because there's 6 of those. So I think every month you'll get an album flip of some sort that's exclusive to you guys and not on YouTube or the internet anywhere else. Now if you wanted to do some tags, I'm pretty okay with cutting these just by eyeing them off. But if you wanted to use a different tag as a template, you could do so. Yes, let me know. Sorry, squirrel moments. The squirrel moments are going to be something new if you haven't tuned into my live streams before. I am quite easily distracted. Quite easily distracted, as you will soon find out. But yes, let me know what types of videos would you like. Would you like some real-time scrapbook process videos? Would you like some mixed media stuff? Would you like more like how-to videos that go into a bit more detail about why I use certain products or how to use certain products, especially mixed media things? I get a lot of people that ask how to, like, difference between gessos and different mediums. If you'd like something on that. Would you like some organising, cleaning, craft area vids to put on while you're cleaning your own craft area yourself? So I can do that too. You can see already how many freaking embellishments we're going to have. We're going to have a ton. I might have to, this might just be an epically long video that you can, and you can always pause the video and come back another time, don't forget, because I think it might be a bit long. Now this one is a country, but I'm going to chop it in half and you'd never know. Uh-oh, uh-oh. The mini Hullman is startling. Nope, he's gone back to sleep. He does that a lot. He gets very handsy with his hands and likes to move them so very quickly and roughly that he wakes himself up sometimes. But he's still asleep. So we've got some more time to do some embellishments. But yeah, I'd be really interested to see what type of content you'd like over here, because I want to make it very user specific. So if you guys have any requests, hit me up in the comments section and I shall do them. Now, what shape tag is that, Adele? That's an interesting shape tag. Oh, that's a very wonky tag. Oh, we're wonky again. Don't you love it when you just keep cutting things and they get smaller and smaller? I do that with outlining when I'm painting. I often outline and the lines get wider and wider and wider. And soon they're so wide that the entire page is the outline. Not that bad, but pretty bad. I also just found that I had this die that I completely forgot about. You know how I was saying I'd forgotten about dies? This is one of them. And look at all those hearts. So I think when Aaron comes home for his lunch break, I'm going to get him to grab the Big Shot out, and I'm going to try and use this die on my gold glittery cardstock. I get the, oh, I think it's called Bella something or other. It's from Spotlight here in Australia, and the gold does come off a little bit, not really bad, just a tiny bit. But yes, I think I'm going to cut some of those to use. We're almost done with the punching. Can I fit? Can I fit? No. Let's do a heart here. I really like this paper. It's different. It reminds me of seaweed, but it's not too seaweedy. Oh, Adele, that's not an adjective. Have you got anything a little less seaweedy? Often, if you're doing circles, it's a good idea, I probably haven't done it this time, but to try and push your circles as far as you can opposite ways, because you can fit a smaller circle punch in the teeny tiny gap in between. I think that's done. Aaron's home. I'm just going to punch these last little ones. We are going to have so many embellishments. This is going to keep me going for a while, and I'm also going to use the stamps that came with the kit to cut out some little tiny, and use them like tiny word stickers. So I'm going to go have some lunch, and I will be right back. Alrighty, I am back, and little mister's had another feed and he's back asleep, so we'll see how much we can get done now. So I punched all of my shapes. I punched a few while I was having lunch as well. And now I'm going to grab my Big Shot and do some of the gold confetti hearts. Alright, I've pulled my Big Shot out, and please excuse the state of my Big Shot. You can guess who did this. And the arm falls off. Actually, oh, Aaron must have super glued it for me. The arm used to fall off and it's all chewed to pieces, covered with fur, but I've tried to wipe off most of that because it lives under my desk. And Frida quite often likes to try and sit on it, which is not preferred, but she does it anyway. So I'm using that Prima, was Prima, wasn't it? Yep, Prima confetti metal die. And I've never used it before, so we're going to see. This could be a disaster. So if you haven't used a Big Shot before, it's got this thing that has different platform bits depending on how thick your thing is that you're using. So I'm using a metal die, so it says to use this level, but for some of them, like for an embossing folder, you have it open to here, so it's not as thick, and for other ones you have it open to there. So I'm going to put that on, and then these are my plasticky bits that are, as you can see, very well used. They still work fine, and I'm not fussed about, you know, the cracks and things. No one sees this. It's not something I display, so I'm okay with it not being in perfect condition. So I'm just going to pop down a clear plastic piece. Oh, the mini beast is stirring. I've got the rain sounds on next to him, so hopefully he goes back to sleep. I've got my gold glitter paper and my die face down, because you can see there's a rougher bit. And if I'm doing a smaller die, I often washi tape it just to make sure it stays in place. Got the clear one on top. Let's see how this goes. And it does often make like a cracking noise, and it is a bit hard, so if you've got arthritis or problems with your wrists, it might be a bit tricky. Now I may have to I'm going to do it twice just because this glitter paper is a bit thicker. Let's see if it works, and if it does, oh my goodness, this is going to be amazing. Alright. Oh. Well, it worked, but it didn't cut it all the way through, which is frustrating. So I could, it's going to take me a while, but to poke all of these out. I think I can get them all though. They just need to be like poked. I'm going to, so I can still use these, I've just got to poke them all out. I'm going to try one more time and do it 3 times all the way through. Let's see. Snippies. Let's see how this one goes. Now, I'm going to sacrifice, can I squeeze them? Oh, I can just, oh. I only have to sacrifice a couple of little hearts at the end there. Alright, 3 times. Oh, come on. Now this is quite painful. I don't know if I've told you guys, but the doctor think I might have a, it's not carpal tunnel, but it's like, I think it's cubial tunnel, and it affects these 2 fingers and up there, because I'm in a lot of pain at the moment, which is making big shotting quite difficult. Alright, that's 2. I'm going to try for 3, and it's going through a lot easier this time, which I think means it's cut. And you know what, for good measure, and because it brings it back to the front, I'm going to do a 4th one. So if you were using normal scrapbook paper, you wouldn't have to do that, but this glitter paper is quite a bit bigger. Okay, I think this is just the way it is, and you just have to pop them out no matter what. So I'm going to turn off the camera, pop these all out and pop them in a little dish, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I've punched out some of the hearts, not all of them. I've punched out that many, and then I got sick and tired of it. But that should do me definitely. I won't use all of these for this project, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you on fast forward now and just put together some different bits and pieces and speak over the top and talk about why I'm choosing different things, only because I've got a lot of embellishments here, and I think little mister over there's only got about half an hour left in him, and this will take me probably about an hour and a half. So I'm going to get to it, and oh, before I do, actually, I'm going to use just a cut off piece of cardstock and stamp out some of the words from the stamp set here, and I have a few others from Citrus Twist that I got in a, I think it was a grab bag stamp set, so I haven't used them yet. They've been sitting over there waiting for me to use them, so I think I'm going to grab them too. I just have to show you, so this is my messy desk, and it's spilled out down to here and here and here, and I have a little crafting buddy who's keeping me company. Poppet absolutely loves it when I do craft, and she quite often just sits right next to me. So I've got her keeping me company over here, and little mister's asleep on his playmat. Let's get to some creating. Can't wait. Alright, I've sped this next bit up quite a lot, but it's pretty obvious what I'm doing. So I'm going through some of those stamp sets, and I kind of just picked things that were generic. So if you'd like to see, by the way, if you are not familiar with stamping and using clear stamps, let me know and I can do a video on that as well. But I'd kind of picked words that were quite generic, so things like daily life and happy and laughter and I love you and look at us, those type of things that could be used. So if you're doing this at home and using stamps as well, I recommend using those easy to use things and not things like oh, I don't know, but something very specific that would be like what a fail, or, you know, things that you don't as often have a photo for. That's what made these really easy to use, and I've just got them on a little dish on my desk all ready to use up. I kind of rotate them because I made so many. You'll see what I mean in a little while, but I made a lot, so I've always got some to fall back on when my supply runs low. So here I go. So someone's just had a feed and is awake. So I'm sitting on the couch next to him, and I've pulled over the stamps and I grabbed some extra paper from the Crepe Paper Chasing Dreams, Gather and Bloom. And I'm just going to sit here watch some YouTube and stamp with my little guy. So this is a great activity for the couch, and you can spread it over a few nights. Don't know if I'll get all of these done today because it is about almost 6 o'clock here, but we'll see how I go. But I'm loving, I really need to use my stamps more often. Remind me, guys, remind me I have to use them more often. You too, can you remind me that? Can you say, Mummy, use your stamps? Look at your leggies go. Boop. Can you say, Mum, Mum, use your stamps? Yep. Good boy. Wow, someone's excited about stamps. Yay, stamps. I've just finished stamping all of the stamps. I grabbed some more from my stash as well. Now I won't cut out all of these, and I won't use all of these because some of them are a bit smudgy and not too great. So I'm going to do that now, and then let's just go have a little cheeky look at what the family's doing. The whole family's chilling on the rug, just having a bit of fun. Are you trying to have some tummy time?
You got it, miss.
Poppet's over there, and Frida is loitering behind here. Watch out, they're about. How you going, Archie? I'm not sure.
Yeah, hello, Poppy.
I'm not sure how successful you're being at lifting your head up.
You got it a bit.
I think he's just a bit tired now. Alright, before we get into it, look at these two cheeky monkeys. They were just determined to wreak havoc on my craft supplies. Their favourite thing at the moment is to find anything that has a tiny bit of paper stuck out, and they will pull it all out. So you can see there in that first shot that I have everything set off into little sections. So I really recommend sectionalizing. That's not a word, is it? I've just made up a word. Sectioning off, yeah, grouping. Let's just go with grouping. That's a nice basic word for Adele to use when she hasn't really got brain power. Grouping your things into the same shapes. I found that easiest. And another tip also that I don't know if I've said earlier, but it's easiest to use papers that coordinate together. So instead of going for every colour under the sun, every rainbow colour you can think of, try and use colours where any of the papers could go with each other. That was a big tip for me. So this is just a process of sticking things together. I tried to make sure that I had at least, 3 or 4 different things stuck on to the one piece, and I always chose my backing piece first. Oh, getting out the hidey shine, things are getting serious. So I tried to always choose the biggest piece first, and then kind of go on from there. And I've got these tiny little stickers from my stash. I got these on eBay. I don't have the link anymore, but I think I just typed in tiny star sticker. I think when I look for things on eBay, it's quite black and white what I type into the search engine, and yeah, it usually comes up. So if I say that I found something on eBay, it's basically I've just typed in exactly what it is. With these ones, I added a doodly border just to try and make them a little bit more, I don't know, I just felt like the things were kind of slipping off a little bit, and the hidey shine doesn't hurt as well. So this is the epicness that is creating these embellishments. Don't think that this is a quick process. It's not, and it does take a while, but the good thing is it's the type of project that you can set up on like a little TV tray or in a little basket that you can bring to the couch, and it's something that you can just keep coming back to. So at the moment I've got a whole nother set of background papers cut, but I haven't done anything with them. They're just sitting in a little basket, just waiting for me when I'm feeling bored one day. Another thing that I really liked here was the tissue paper. So to do this, all I do is a strip of double-sided tape, and then I just concertina fold the strip of tissue paper down, and it just makes a lovely textury bit, and it makes it look a bit more special. It kind of makes it look a bit more like not a bought embellishment, but just that you've it just makes it feel a bit more put together, I guess. I did use my white gel pen in some of these for the darker papers, and I really like the look of that. I should use my white gel pen more often. I just use the Uni Signo white gel pen. I've heard great things about, what is it called? Is it called a souffle? What's the other one? Jelly roll. Is it jelly roll? I think it's jelly roll. I've heard great things about that one, but I don't know where to get them from in Australia. I want to try them as well. But tissue paper is very handy and it's very cheap. So I just get mine at our local $2 shop. And it's nice and handy just to have some white and then maybe 2 of your favorite colors. It won't burst your craft budget, but it just adds a little extra something. So this paper was one of my favorites and I had trouble covering it up. I didn't want to cover it up, but I just added tiny little bits here and there. So what I'm hoping with this video is, because this process of making the embellishments is quite long, I hope that it's the type of video that you can put on in the background while you're actually making your own ones, just to give you some ideas of different combinations. I used really simple shapes that even if you don't have the exact same punches as me, it's very easy to mimic, you know, a label kind of shape, or a heart. You know, it's not the exact same heart, but if it's a heart, it'll look like a heart. Words of wisdom from Adele. This one was actually off that one of the 6x6 papers, and I do like how it turned out, but I think I prefer the more delicate little words instead of this giant more of this. I just feel like it's a bit in your face. Craft foam was my best friend with this, and I have somewhere really skinny strips of craft foam. Do you think I could find it? No. But when I don't need it, I will find it. So craft foam's another one of those cheap supplies. Actually, no, it is not cheap here in Australia. Craft foam puts me back a lot. I think the last pack I bought, I got 5 A4 sheets, and I think it was something ridiculous like $7. Something silly. I have heard that Lingcraft may have big packs of craft foam. I do have to get some more actually, but it's just fun foam. And you could also use, if you have chipboard sheets, like the big 12x12 crepe paper ones, you could also cut that up to use as mimic the craft foam and give your words and your layers a little bit of 3D-ness. I have sped this video up quite a lot, remember, so this is, I think it's sped up 4 times. So it did take me quite a few hours to do this, and I kept them all in. I don't know if I kept all of them in, but I didn't. I probably kept half of it in, because I just thought it would give you some ideas for different, compositions. You can screenshot them if you want and come back to them later. I do have some stills pictures at the end, which might be easier if you want to get some shots of these to look at later on when you're making your own ones. I'm a big fan of that tissue paper we need a name for that. Tissue paper ruffling. If I say tissue paper ruffling from now on in videos, will you know what I mean? I hope you do. So I'm adding some little hearts, and I can't go anywhere without a nice dashed line, and I wonk it up, but doesn't matter. These are DIY embellishments. They're it adds to their charm. I had a little idea. Right, peeps, hear me out. What do you think of this? Patreon is my way of trying to support my family and I without having to go back to full-time work next year. If I do go back to full-time work next year, which I hope I don't have to, YouTube videos will dry up like massively. I think you'll be lucky to have 2 videos a month on YouTube. Whereas if I can stay at home and make Inkie Quill a bit of a thing, I'll be able to keep up my 2 videos a week on Inkie Quill, 1 video a week on Let's Get Inkie, and even if I do have to go back to work, I'll keep up the Patreon as well. But I'm thinking maybe of creating these little embellishments to sell in packs on like an Etsy store or something. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. I just really enjoy making them, and I don't I don't make enough to, you'll see at the end, I make so many of these freaking embellishments, it's ridiculous. So if you think that that's something you might be interested in, just buying a little handful of embellishments for a couple of dollars, let me know, because I would really love to share the love. I know that, you know, it's not easy to support people on Patreon as well as having your own crafty budget, and it really does mean the world that you are, you know, supporting me over here, and supporting little Archie and helping us out, because I technically don't have a job to go back to next year. I have to reapply, re-interview, and it'd be really nice if I didn't have to deal with that stress and knew that I could have another year at home, or maybe even more. We'll have to wait and see. These ones, I decided to dig out the puffy stickers that came in this Citrus Twist kit, and I need to get, there's a, I think it's EK Success, CK Success, EK Success, something or other. It's this little powder tool, and I think you can do the same thing just by dipping a paintbrush in like talcum powder. But this tool looks really cool to take off the stickiness when you are using stickers and you don't want to use the stickiness, because I purposely overlapped the "Don't Quit" over the side of the tag, and it started to stick on everything, and then it started to get fluffy. So I really need to, what do you guys have? If you don't have the tool, do you just use a paintbrush, and is talcum powder, do you think, the best thing to use? I wouldn't want to use flour or anything because it might get weevily or might go funny. But I think talcum powder would be all right. I don't know. Help me out. Help a sister out. This one I kind of like. It's a bit like a journaling tag because it's got favourites, and then it's got the space for writing. So that didn't really need much embellishing at all. Next up, this heart does have a grid on it. It's a bit hard to see on camera, but it's not just a plain white heart. It has got a very faint grid on it. And I have actually been using, I made these last month when I got the kit, because I've been working on Patreon for quite a few months now. And I've been working on it in little snippets while Archie's been asleep. And I have been using these embellishments in some projects, but I haven't been able to kind of really show them very much because I didn't want people to know or ask about where I made them. As you can see, my white background is getting slowly more and more and more dirty, and it does rub off on the back of my embellishments. So if I was to do this again, I'd have a separate area for hardy shining, because I did get sticky hardy shine everywhere. So I'm adding some tissue paper. Sometimes I do the ruffling, sometimes I just stick it on and just have it there. Some very wonky journaling lines. I'm into the wonky journaling lines, if you haven't noticed at the moment. A, it takes minimal effort, and B, if you stuff it up, it doesn't matter because they're meant to be wonky. That's a tip from me. Make them wonky and no one will know that they're not meant to be wonky. This next one, this was already a piece of ephemera in that ephemera pack, that like a tiny word little strip. And I'm adding some tissue paper. My one tip with the tissue paper is always cut off more than you think you need, because quite often I've found myself short when I've been doing the ruffle, and only like a tiny bit short, and it drives me crazy to have to do just the teeniest little bit. It's really fiddly. So always cut a long strip and then you can just cut it shorter. That's my tip. This one was a bit different. I grabbed this floral embellishment, so it wasn't a punch shape, it was an embellishment, a ephemera piece that came already like that. And I just wanted to add some extra things to it, and I love how it turned out. I did get some leaf dies for my Big Shot machine, so I think I'm going to have a go at making some clusters with those next time. Let me know if you'd like to see that. Am I thinking? I do a lot of thinking in this video. This took forever. But it was good because I zoned out and I didn't realize how much time had actually passed. Archie was asleep. I remember doing this. He slept for a good 2 hours and then woke up. So I paused the video and then he went back to sleep. So I did some more. And then Aaron was home. And I think in that whole space, like 4 or 5 hours had passed and I had no idea. So this one, rest, I know rest isn't as kind of a generalized word, like I was talking about before, to do general words, but when you think about it, I have a baby and he is constantly resting, and I'm constantly taking photos of him resting because he's so adorable. Adding a little bit of twine. I need to get some more twine. That's a blue one. It came on a present that someone gave me, I think, and I kept it. I'm such a hoarder of gift wrap, but you can use it again in your scrapbooking and art journaling. So why not keep it? When the drawer starts to burst that I keep that kind of thing in, then I know it's time to use it or lose it, one or the other. The pen that I'm using, by the way, if anyone asks, is I think it's a Pilot G2. I think that's what it is. Maybe. It's Pilot. That's all I know. It's Pilot, and I think it's a G2 or G7. No, I'm getting mixed up with my camera now. My camera is a G7. I don't know. I think it's a G2. But just any ballpoint pen will work for this. So I'm adding a heart and a tag to this one. So just because there's big pieces doesn't mean you can only use one of them. You can layer them up and do a couple at a time. I tried to do some that were kind of monochromatic. So you can see this one, because we're in autumn. Well, we were in autumn when I was filming this, and I was feeling this would be good for an autumny kind of layout. It's good to, if you get stuck, just go back to monochromatic embellishments. So grab all of the different things in your piles that are blue, or all the different things that are yellows and oranges. That's a way to refresh if you're getting a bit stuck for ideas. And the thing I love about these embellishments is you can technically do the same layout several times and it will look different every time. It just if you change this background shape to be a heart next time, it would look, and do different words, it'd be totally different, but you could just do the same thing over and over and over again. So you can see here, I'm doing a word on a tissue paper background. This time I'm putting it on some craft foam. You can just repeat the same little ones over and over again. And I found when I was getting stuck, because my brain did get fried after a little while, I kind of just looked up to see ones that I'd already done to get some ideas and get me back on track. And I really recommend sticking and blonking. Don't try to pre-plan. Don't try and go, oh, I'm going to cut out 3 circles of this blue paper because I wanted them to go with these 3 words. Nah. You're going to be there forever and you're going to get frustrated with it. Just cut as many shapes as you can, and you don't have to use up all of your shapes. That's another thing too. If you only end up using half of your embellishment shapes and feel that you're done. That's okay. You can put them in a little box to use by themselves on layouts. You can use them as layering if you do card making. You can use them to make some embellishments later on. You can do anything with them. You can use them in your art journaling as different layers. So you don't have to keep going until every tiny little piece is used up. I still had quite a few. I know I had quite a few of the puffy stickers and things left, and I definitely had a heap of the stamped words left. I didn't use them all up at all. So you don't have to, don't feel pressure to use it all up. Just make as many as you want. And I recommend that when you start doing this as well, don't cut too many shapes out. Start small. So maybe you could start with, if you have 5 different punches, start with, 10 of each shape. So 10 little 10 1-inch circles, 10 big circles, 10 big hearts, 10 labels, and 10 scallop circles. And you'll be set. Believe me, there's more than you think when you start off with this. I really like how this one turned out too. I'm definitely going to dig through, I think, some of I was complaining in Inkie Quill video not too long ago about large embellishments and how it's driving me crazy that companies are making their embellishment packs larger and larger, not in how many you get, but just in the sheer size of the actual pieces. It's driving me nuts. and so they're a really good thing to use as the base for your shape. Now, if you're someone who doesn't have punches, that's okay. You can use, if you have a Big Shot or a die cutting machine, you can use those, or you could just cut squares, or you could just cut rectangles. They don't, or tags. A tag is a very easy shape to cut. You can even just trace around a tag that you've already got. So you don't need to go out and buy new punches. Don't use this as an enabling excuse, peeps. Even though I do really want a new label punch, just saying. You can use whatever you've got. You can do square shapes, anything will work. As long as it's smaller than a 6x6 paper pad, it will be an embellishment. Might be a little bit big if you try and do 6x6 pieces of paper. So you can see there, I did take a little break, and this is the one that I came back to. I hate coming back to half created stuff. Is anyone else like that? I kind of give myself 2 sessions to finish something, and then it has to be done. So this little embellishment, I remember coming back to it. I've merged it pretty well, but I came back to it 3 or 4 times because Archie kept waking up. And by the end of it, I was so sick at looking at this little embellishment, I was ready to just throw it. So that one's done. And then, these little circle ones, to start off with, they're the easiest ones to do, because all I did was basically all of them, I just did either a word or one little heart or something, one little thing bumped up on craft foam, and they were all done. So if you're a bit nervous to get started on this project, start with your smallest shapes first. That's my tip. I really did enjoy stamping on different coloured paper. That's something that I never think of. I just never think of my stamps. I never think of my stamps. I always forget them. They're like the poor forgotten child. They just are, of my craft supplies. And I have a butt-ton of them as well, and dies. Maybe I should let me know if you'd like me to do one of these DIY embellishment videos every month, because it is quite an epic video. But let me know if you'd like me to do one every month, and I can do that for you. Maybe the next one I might challenge myself to use some of my dies in my Big Shot instead of punches, just to try and get them a bit of usage. So you can see here, all I did was a puffy sticker and a heart. I didn't bother to show you because it wasn't very interesting, and you can kind of see it from where you are. My favorites to create though are these heart ones. I just like the way that they look, and I just love hearts. It's my favorite shape. What's your favorite shape? A shape that I struggle with greatly is the humble hexagon. I don't know what it is about it. I guess it could be that I haven't really used it a lot, so that means that I'm a bit nervous around it, and I don't really know, because with a hexagon you could have the pointy bit at the top or a straight bit at the top, and I just never know what works. Hexagons and triangles, they kind of, they make me nervous. My favorites at the moment are definitely hearts and stars and the good old circle. You can't go past a circle in my mind. That little one's done, and some of these have space for journaling on them, some of them don't. If you wanted to make yours have space for journaling, I'd recommend using kind of more blocky shapes, like a rectangle, or some large labels might help, or just not putting as much as I do on them. I do like to go overboard with my layering, you know that by now, peeps. So I'm still going. I don't know how I could make so many, and this is probably only half of them, I would say. I think this is only half of them. But like I said over and over, it is a very fun activity to do, and it's a good thing to do when you feel like being creative but you are stuck for ideas. You've lost your mojo a little bit, because the canvas size of these embellishments is so small. You feel a real accomplishment when you finish one, instead of sitting down to do a giant 12x12 layout or a big art journal page and not being able to satisfy your creativeness by making something that you're proud of. Whereas here, these embellishments are tiny and you can make something that you're proud of in the space of 2 minutes. So I really think they're a good mojo buster if you feel like you've slipped off track, because we all do. And I would have to say, when Archie, while I'm doing this voiceover, Archie's now 12 weeks old, and I did feel a bit, not nervous, but a bit fluttery, I'm going to say, coming back into creating, because I did the scrap stream 4 weeks after he was born, I think. Yeah, 4 weeks after he was born. And I was really nervous because I hadn't scrapped, I think maybe 2 weeks before he was born, or maybe longer than that, maybe the whole month before he was born. And it'd been a while and I just felt rusty and fluttery and just a bit nervous. So if you've had a bit of a break from creating, this is a good one to get back into it. It's also a fun one to do if you're going away. You can pre-punch a whole heap of shapes. It'd be great for camping because it's not too messy. If you're someone that goes on big holiday trips with your family that last for a week and you just need a bit of mummy or daddy time just to, get away from it all. Or if you're a teen watching this and you just need a little bit of break from mummy and daddy as well, it's a good little activity to take on holidays with you, especially if you have everything pre-punched. And that way, you don't have to feel like you need to finish all of the bits and pieces because you can just keep them in a container for next time. I would recommend a storage container of some sort for all of your bits and pieces. The Humble Muffin Tin is a great one. You could get a shoebox and put a muffin tin in it, and that could store all of your pieces. You could also just use Ziploc bags, like freezer bag type things, and put all of your bits and bobs in them. I just prefer things to be not in bags, just to be out for me to snatch them up. But yeah, it would be very easy to just grab the stuff on the go and use it there. And then maybe include, because all you really need is your punched out shapes. You need a black pen, a white pen if you want to, a little bit of tissue paper, some glue and some scissors and tape runner. Not much at all. All of those supplies could fit in a shoebox and it would be easy to fit in your suitcase. I really like that one with the double banner with the vellum. I think I'm going to have to use my vellum more often. It's like stamps. There's a lot of forgotten products coming out in this DIY embellishment video. This one is a puffy sticker and I wanted to do the ruffling, but I decided to do it straight onto the sticky. Look at that tiny little bit of tissue paper that I needed to fill that gap. That's what I meant by cutting more than you think you need. It's much better. But yeah, so I decided to go straight onto the back of the puffy sticker because it was already sticky, and that's done. Still going. This is also good to use up those manufacturing strips if you're like me and you hoard them in your scraps box, because you might just need a tiny strip of that paper that you love so much one day. This is when you need it. So you know what? Justification done. I kept it for a reason, and that reason is now. So here I could tell I was getting to the end. I was kind of getting over it a little bit. And so I decided to do a whole heap of these 1-inch circles at once. And I kind of just went a little bit crazy with the words and the tiny little stars and hearts. Those little stars and hearts are very handy for a project like this. You could also use tiny wood veneer. That would be something else you could use. Or you could just draw them on. That's another option. But I just like the tiny little details. So this I kind of did like a, what's it called? Like a conveyor belt, like a manufacturing conveyor belt. So I did all of the words on first. Then I did all of the hearts on next. And that's another way. I kind of only like doing it that way when there's these small embellishments. When they're the bigger ones like the hearts and the bigger circles, I kind of like to get them over and done with as one instead of little bits and pieces. But with these tiny little circles, it does work out well, and it's nice and quick too. So you can see I'm using a little bit of lime green. I know. It's not like me at all. But here I pair it with the turquoise and probably put some gold on. Yep, there's some gold too. So I'm bringing it back. It's all right. What colours do you really enjoy scrapbooking with? You know me, you know my colours. But I'm trying to introduce myself to other colours too. I'm trying baby steps, little baby steps. You won't be seeing me do an entire green journal page anytime soon, but little bits might sneak in here and there and everywhere. These label ones that look like ledger paper, I really wanted to use them for journaling. A lot of the time I only just wanted to do a tiny bit of journaling, like just a few little words here and there. And so this label shape was good because it didn't allow for too much space, but it was enough space. Here I went on another tiny circle rampage and I did all of the glue on first. I'm using glue for this step just because I'm lazy and it's easier. With those tiny words, they were quite thin and my double-sided tape was thicker and I couldn't be bothered to buy new double-sided tape and I couldn't be bothered to cut it. So what do you know? Glue's your best friend. And like I said, if you stuff one up, chuck it out. It's only one little thing. If you do something that's wonky, it's okay. It adds to the handmade nature of it. Don't push yourself to make everything perfect in your eyes. Perfect in your eyes might not be perfect in someone else's eyes. So this is all just about zoning out, having some fun, and just sticking bits of paper together because, let's be honest, that's what we're all here for. Even if you're just an art journaler or if you support me on Inkie Quill and do scrapbooking, we all like paper and sticking things on it and sticking things all together. So I'm almost finished up here, guys, and then I think I go through and show you them all. But let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do one of these videos every month, and I can definitely do one for you. The next one I think will just be from my stash. And they're all done. Oh my goodness, I freaking love these so very much. I will scan the camera over them a bit more close up after this and put some photos at the end. I really love this idea, so please let me know in the comments if you'd like me to do one of the videos to be a monthly embellishment making one. Next month I'll grab a couple of items from my stash and we'll do it from a stash busting point of view. This is a really good activity to do on the couch, or if you're not feeling very well, if you want to just do it over a few nights, that's a good idea as well. So once again, guys, thank you so much for supporting me and this venture. This is allowing me to make more YouTube videos and more online classes and products and things for you in the future. I've got some products up my sleeve, but I need to figure out how I'm going to do it and how much it's going to cost to start it up. So stay tuned. So thanks for joining me, and please let me know if you like this kind of video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.